Citizen, hello and welcome. It's Myst. Video a bit special because we are not talking about action figures or video games, but a comic book. This kind of video won't be a recurring feature on the channel, but if I have something to say about a particular comic, or if I feel like it, I will do it. Today we will take a look at the comic book entitled Batman 3 Jokers. A bit of background before we begin. 2050 saw the release of Justice League The Darkseid War series, which tells the story of the war between Darkseid and Anti-Monitor. After Darkseid's death, some of your heroes receive the power of gods. Flash becomes the god of death. Superman, the god of strength. Shazam, the god of gods. But the one we are particularly interested in here is the character of Batman, who by sitting on the Mobius chair gets its power and becomes the god of knowledge. Now he has almost infinite knowledge. Barely in possession of his new powers, he asks this question: what's the Joker's true names? And seems surprised by the answer. At the end of the comic, Hal Jordan asks him what the share has revealed about the identity of the Joker. Batman will then reveal that there is not one but 3 Jokers. Which brings us to today's eponymous comic book. In 2020, Jason Fabok and Geoff Johns are finally delivering the stories that are supposed to lift the veil on the revelations that began 5 years ago. And from what I have read here and there, it doesn't seem to have gone down too well with the fans, or even disappointing them. Batman, Batgirl and Red Hood find themselves investigating 3 murders committed by the Joker in 3 places at the same time. This will lead them to the trail of 3 Jokers: the criminal, the clown, and the comedian. The thing I found the most stupid about the story is that it's the Jokers who have to reveal themselves. For years the guys have been fooling everyone with their little schemes, including the world's greatest detective. And overnight, the guy emerged from hiding and declared, "No more masquerade." We subtly suggest there are multiples of us by dropping hints here and there. Why expose something that has worked so well all these years? It's completely stupid. Then you tell me that without it, there will be no story. Why not emphasize the fact that Batman knows this information and is driving them to reveal themselves one by one? Well, I agree with some of critics is in the fact that the Joker characters is just a pretext in the story. You don't learn anything more about these 3 Jokers. The why and how. Or worse, the final will return you to the status quo. I'm keeping it vague to avoid spoilers, but it won't affect the Dark Knight's Adventures continuity. What a shame! The character of the Joker is certainly central, but the narrative appears to concentrate on different aspects. illustrate this principle than Batman, Batgirl, and Red Hood. For those unfamiliar with this concept, I say it involves overcoming trauma by recognizing the traumatic event and taking steps to avoid or no longer experience misfortune in order to rebuild oneself. It's possessing the mental fortitude to recover from experiences, physical or psychological mistreatment. You know, there is a saying that goes, think or swim. Well, I'd say it's more or less along the same. I think people who manage to be resilient are generally pragmatic, because it requires them to detach themselves from their emotion to objectively assess the situation in order to begin to rebuild themselves. But I digress. The story focuses more on this aspect, as well as on forgiveness. From the beginning of the comic, we are introduced to the different traumas experienced by the three main characters. Batman with the brutal demise of his parents before his own eyes, Barbara and the attack, and potential rape that happened in his flat, which left her incapacitated for several years. And finally, Red Hood, Jason Todd, the second Robin, beaten and left for dead by the Joker. What I found interesting in this story was the Joker's plan to create other Jokers. That's how we end up with a bunch of zombie clowns. He shares with Jason in a scene that he wants to create a superior Joker and has considered him for the role. That is why he subjected her to so much torture, being convinced that anyone experiencing a bad day will eventually become like him. It's quite interesting to see the depersonalization of the character and to see the Joker more as an evil that's fresh and could affect anyone. The drawings are good. I always find it more pleasant to read a comic with a beautiful illustration. Speaking of comics, I was surprised by the format chosen, which is similar to that used in Europe. A strange choice, to say the least. That's all I have to say about Batman 3 Jokers. Nice and pleasant to read if you take it as a one-shot, but pointless and has no impact on the continuity of the series, unfortunately. It was Myst. See you next time for a new video. Ciao!